Have you ever watched those drug commercials that make no sense? It's just people happy, frolicking through fields, but yet it works. And we're going to talk about why it works in today's episode of Midwest Mindset. Hello and welcome back to Midwest Mindset, the podcast that makes marketing easy and simple to do for any business. I'm Matt Tompkins of Two Brothers Creative, where we believe every business deserves affordable and effective marketing. Let's intro everybody on the show. Okay,
all right, yeah.
Big round of applause for this. We're going to lead into it with some positivity. Okay, first up, we have a man who he is recovering from COVID. You did not take him out.
Next to him.
Austin, yeah. Well, we're in the clear. At least I hope, right?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
negative, right? You
we're
tested?
good. Yep.
Okay, thank you. All right, sweet.
I would feel terrible. I don't wish that on anyone. It is the worst.
Here's my question with COVID. Like, okay, people when they get COVID, all right, I got to stay home. I don't want to get anybody else sick. But then any other illness we get, like you get strep throat or the flu or, a cold that's contagious as well, you just go to work. Like, why aren't we applying that mindset to all the illnesses?
I think you're supposed to stay home for those too, Matt.
But I agree with you. No one does.
No one does. If you get a really bad cold, people still come to work.
Yeah.
And they spread it.
It's because you don't have the tests. With COVID, you have the drama of you have this test and this big thing.
Well, maybe we need a test for the cold.
Well, you can test for strep throat.
Yeah. So congratulations on surviving and still being alive. Austin, he looks like the kind of guy who always puts it in the wrong hole.
Oh, yeah. That is you.
It gets me in a lot of trouble.
Trust me. I know.
We're talking about golf, right?
Probably golf too. Yeah. I was thinking about pool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to call
That's
those
what I was
shots.
thinking about.
Yeah. And if you're thinking about something else, that's on you, you pervert. Next up, we have Myerton. Myerton McHugh, he is the producer extraordinaire. He's in the control booth right now. We still don't allow him to have a microphone for reasons. Maybe someday. But Myerton, he looks like the kind of guy who makes his own slippers. That's Myerton.
Oh, that is him.
Yeah. He probably hand knits them. Maybe some crochet is involved.
With human hair.
With human hair.
That's why he's growing a beard.
It's all woven together. Oh God! And you don't want to know where he gets the human hair from. That's weird. That's where it gets weird.
We don't.
That's
where
it gets
Only
weird.
part
Toilet seats.
And last but least, of course, the other brother from the same mother, Ben Tompkins, who he looks like the kind of guy who is always near Jell-O.
Yeah. It's a quick and easy meal.
Yeah.
It's very practical. So I know where all the Jell-O spots are in town.
So growing up together, because since we're brothers, that's how it works. Ben would sit and eat a whole tub of frosting. He would get cake frosting and just devour it. I mean, it was like, it was
real?
your jam.
It started with Dunkaroos. Dunkaroos, you could buy the little graham crackers that were the kangaroos.
I remember
and
those.
You would dunk them into frosting. And then I started to think, well, I just like the frosting, so I would just eat the frosting. And then I started to think, let's just take out the middleman and buy the frosting. So I just go buy frosting and eat it. But I'd have to hide the frosting because if my parents or anybody found me, they would take it or they would judge me.
Yeah.
That's the perfect metaphor too for drugs. Like you start small and then you move up. You're like,
my drug is
the whole container.
My name is Matt and I'm addicted to frosting.
My drug is just cake frosting.
Yeah, it was bad. Like it was crazy. Like, I mean,
How old was he?
Oh, he's like, I don't know.
I still do it.
Yeah, he still does it. Yeah, it's his entire life. I think it started young. He was like probably 6 years old, and he would just devour it. Man, he loved it. He was so happy. I didn't want to stop him.
God, it's a miracle you're a skinny guy.
Ben, is that how you
if
felt
you
when
just eat tubs? If I ate tubs of frosting, my metabolism was so terrible, I would have been even a fatter kid.
Yeah. I mean, is that how you felt, Ben, when I went through my addiction, when I was just taking all kinds of drugs? You're just like, but Matt looks so happy. I don't.
No, I got it. I was like, no, I get what he's going through.
You try to give.
I had the same issue with frosting.
I know it. Just got to let it play out.
You try to get on Matt about it, and then he freaks out about your frosting.
Right.
Yeah. Ben, you're the frosting, man.
Yeah,
Leave me alone with my OxyContin.
Take the log out of your own eye.
Okay, so today we're talking about focusing on the end result. Okay, and this is key to your marketing for any business. So, have you guys seen the drug commercials, right?
Yeah.
The ones I'm talking about. So these are the drug commercials. There's all this like video footage of people like frolicking through a field, or they're just going to the market, and they're just like all this weird shit. And you're like, what does this have to do with anything? What is your take? What is your take on those commercials? Like, why do you think they're effective or not effective?
I think they come from a time when they're an older form of advertising, so they're probably still effective. They're not as effective, I don't think, as they once were. Because I see them, and I think these are the same cheesy commercials that I saw when I was a kid.
Yeah, every time I see one, I wonder the same thing. why do they still make them like this? And who can't see it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like who is this fooling?
So the answer is they work. That's why they still do it. Why do they work? That's the other question, right?
I'm excited for the answer.
They work because what they're doing in this commercial is they're showing you, they're in a visual format, the end result. This is what your life will look like after consuming our product, in this case, our drug, right? So if you take this, they're going to paint the picture of the end result. So that's why it's all this happy footage that doesn't seem to make any sense. It's not really connected to anything. They're showing you, here's how good your life can be, you know? And with businesses and their marketing, a big mistake, it's easy to make, is to just talk about the product. We're going to say, this is the best product. It's the best. Here's the specs. Here's the facts. And when you do that, you are targeting the thinking brain for your customer. And nobody makes decisions based on their thinking brain. Nobody makes any decisions based on the facts or the specs. And we like to say that we do, but nobody does. That's just a hard fact. That's a reality check. We make decisions based on our feeling brain. Right? So the end result is targeting your feeling brain. It's saying, this is how it's going to look. This is how your life is going to feel after you buy our product, right? Focusing on the specs just does not work. It just doesn't work. It's not going to attract anybody. So what do you think of the drug commercials now that you know that?
That makes me think about the difference between features and benefits. Like they're showing the benefit. Because no one really wants to hear about the features. They want the benefits.
Makes me think they're a bunch of liars.
What?
Yeah, because they're going to sell this prescription, and they, number one, don't know, they don't care about the other consequences of the prescription.
Yeah.
Some medication does terrible things to people. Some people abuse medication. Some people have a horrible past with medication. They don't care if you actually feel that way. They're just trying to manipulate you and trick you into thinking that so that you buy their product.
Well, in the case of drug companies, you're probably right. But like, let's just say overall, painting the picture of the end result.
Like Diet Coke.
Yeah.
When I was younger and I was about 5 years into stand-up, I wrote this whole thing about Diet Coke and how it's brings the party alive and all that. Because just those commercials growing up, it's like you crack open this, best time of your life.
If I saw a drug commercial that said, hey, we have this drug, but first, have you tried changing your diet? Have you tried increasing
You're right,
your
but like,
they would go out of business
if you tried all of these
immediately.
things, if you did and it still doesn't work, I would buy that drug even if I didn't need it, just because I would respect that company.
I used to think that way too. I used to think, man, if somebody did a commercial, they just came on and they said, hey, listen, I get it. Commercials suck. Here's my product. Here's why it's good. I always thought that would work, right? No, why doesn't anybody do that? Well, there's a reason. Like, you know, it
doesn't work. I mean, you're not going to sell.
You know, and like but what you're saying, I'm not discounting that that's probably true in a lot of cases, and that's unfortunate. Manipulating people, especially when you're targeting their feeling brain, sometimes it's very easy to do. And so a lot of companies will do that, especially drug companies. The drug commercials are hilarious though, with the disclaimers at the end. That's what cracks me up. Like, you know, side effects may include, you know, explosive diarrhea.
Like,
what?
Your dick flying off.
Yeah. You're gonna lose
coming
both your
back to you
nipples.
like a boomerang.
Yeah. If your dick will turn into a boomerang if you take this drug. I actually would take that drug. That would be fun.
So,
Talk about
the
party.
Bunch of dudes
Talk about-
outside shooting their dicks in the air.
Talk about the party coming to life.
This is the best drug ever. Not only does it prevent scabies, but it also is a boomerang dick.
An epidemic has swept the nation.
Yeah.
Boomerang dick.
Speaking of drug commercials, this is a total side note here, side tangent, but like shingles. What's going on with shingles?
1 in 3 people
I'd like to
will
know.
have shingles. And that means somebody in this, one of us will have shingles.
One of us has shingles.
It's already inside of us.
Yeah.
The virus
Yep.
That's what's wild.
Yeah.
Because it's part of the chicken pox.
just needs to be activated.
Yeah, it's like chicken. If you've had chicken pox, then you can get
the
scabies.
shingles.
Or it's not scabies, but shingles.
And apparently stress.
Scabies is something totally different, and I don't want to talk about that. No, okay. Listen, I got scabies once. It was summertime. We went to the club. I was like 21, maybe. Went to the club. Some club in
Guitars
Omaha.
and Cadillacs.
It was Guitars and Cadillacs.
You
It
told
was.
me this story.
Yes.
Scabies
Guitars
from
and
Guitars and
Cadillacs.
Cadillacs.
I go out on the dance floor. There's a pretty girl wants to dance, so we're dancing. We're kind of grinding, right? Well, I'm wearing shorts. She's wearing a skirt.
Shorts to a club.
It was Guitars and
Yeah, it's
Cadillacs.
Guitars and
man.
Cadillacs. What do you don't judge?
He was
Well, you
wearing,
can't
he
wear
was wearing-
shorts out when it's
No,
summer.
you
you
wearing
can't wear
cowboy
shorts to a
boots.
club.
with the
Okay,
shorts.
well, you know, I was 21. I went out with shorts. So anyhow, we're dancing. So like my inner thigh,
I'm on your side.
my inner thigh was rubbing up against her inner thigh, And then over the next couple of days, my thigh just turned it. It looked like it looked like not chickenpox, but worse, like just red bumps everywhere. And then it started spreading. And pretty soon, I'm like, I got scabies. I didn't know what it was, but it's all over me. Went to the doctor and like, yeah, you got scabies. Here, take this medication, clear right up, and it did. But I'm like, yeah, that lady should have told me. She should have gave me a disclaimer herself. Yeah. Listen, I want to dance with you, want to bump and grind, but just so you know,
the music was too loud.
She needs to go to see one of those frolicking dancing commercials.
You thought she was singing along to the song, but she was screaming, "I have scabies."
Yeah. Like, by the way, I have scabies. So anyhow, okay, side tangent over. But the shingles is interesting because like I don't remember 10, 20 years ago. I didn't even know, nobody knew what shingles was. And now it seems like these commercials they are terrifying too.
But that's
really
the other
grinding. Like, did you know you could have shingles right now?
But that's the other thing with this. I mean, I know this focus of this isn't just pharmaceuticals and drugs. I know I would imagine you're applying this approach to all advertising, but with pharmaceutical companies, it's a business. So who knows? I mean, you can find out, I'm sure, by doing research on how prevalent shingles really is and how dangerous and painful. But it's a business. They want you to buy their product, so they're going to promote it. It's not a health thing. That's the other thing when it comes to drugs is they're not treating it as if this is a community service. They're treating it like it's a business, which is probably the biggest problem with this whole thing is that they put their money first. They don't put the customer's interest first.
So why Ben's here. Ben is our ethical morality check.
Yeah, and well, now I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, I always feel like they're manipulative, the commercials, but if human beings, if it's a scientifically proven fact that we think with, or, we make decisions based on our feelings and we don't think about it, they don't really have a choice, right?
I know. I would argue that
because like if we're programmed to make decisions that way, they have to.
I would argue that that's the way of thinking of your emotional brain is making most of your decisions, and facts aren't playing as big of a role as maybe we would like, is true for a majority of people, but it doesn't have to be true in all decisions, and it doesn't have to be true for that majority. I think that's where education, where not leaning into like, well, this is just the way it is, we can't change it. I think you can change a lot of how we learn and receive information and process information. Back when we only had 3 news channels and newspapers getting our news, I know there's still a lot of manipulation and propaganda out there, but the misinformation wasn't as prevalent as it is today. Because, I mean, today we've just accepted this idea of we're going to believe what my brain tells me to believe. Yeah. We're not going to trust a process of elimination or research or peer review. We're not going to trust that or credible sources.
That makes me and Matt are going to stand up on his desk and say, "Captain, oh my captain."
Wow.
What movie was that?
Pulling a reference there. Robin Williams was in that. Yeah, it was a book club or something.
Yeah, it was a teacher. He inspired everyone.
Dead Poets
Society. Yeah, that was a reference pulled out of the back of the box there. So the end result. Let me give you an example of where a commercial gets it wrong. Okay, and they focus too much on what you're talking about. We're talking about like negative. That's called the stakes. You're highlighting the stakes, right? So any commercial, anything, you follow this story. So you have a hero who's the customer, and the hero has a problem. And then the hero meets a guide. The guide is the business. The business is there to give them a plan and say, hey, 1, 2, 3, you do this, you buy a product, you do this, and it's going to work. And then they call them to action. And the last 2 things are highlighting the stakes, which is like, here's what happens if you don't buy our product, and then painting a picture of the end result if you do. So a commercial that gets this wrong, or a type of commercial, is the commercials about the dogs and the animals, like the ASPACA, whatever the name of it is. And they load this commercial, 60 minutes or 60 seconds or even 2 minutes, right? With just horribly sad images. The whole thing is it's terrifyingly depressing.
Yeah.
Every time that commercial comes on, I have to change the channel. Now, they should highlight the stakes.
That's interesting. So do I.
They highlight the stakes through the entire thing. The reason that it would perform much better for them if they had a little bit of the stakes and then show the end result. So, hey, here's what's going on right now. If you donate your money, call to action, here's the stakes: sad puppy, abandoned, starving. And then here's what happens when you donate: end result. So that's an example.
A dog running into a loving family.
Yes, sprinting along, big full
in
belly.
that park from Full House.
Those commercials, I think, and one reason why they might be effective, or they might continue to do them, is that they stick in your brain as there is no result. that those dogs and those animals that are in the commercial are forever in those cages.
So are they marketing with trauma?
Yeah, absolutely. If you see a dog run into a happy family, in your brain, you're thinking, "Oh, the dog's saved. I don't need to worry about it." But you're always
you highlight both. You highlight both. You show the dog trapped, and you say, "Here's what happens when you donate your money," and you show the end result.
But you
do both.
When you come to like,
but
okay,
you're saying that people are so stupid, they'll think the dog is saved and they won't give money.
They won't feel as guilty when they see the dog.
But here's the thing: I donate to causes, a lot of local like animal nonprofits and stuff here in the Omaha area. I haven't donated anything. I've not felt motivated to donate to those commercials just because
I'm the same way.
And it's like, it's not that I'm not a giving person. It's just, and I love animals, but they just got it wrong. Like, now, I don't say they got it wrong. Their commercials likely work to a degree. What I'm saying is they're going to work a lot better if they just put a little bit of the end result in there.
No,
right?
I agree that I think there's manipulation. I mean, that's all types of
marketing is
propaganda. And in some ways they're capitalizing on your guilt or your fear or whatever. But with that, if you see and you know that these animals are safe, I'm sure once you donate, that's when you see this result. You get just inundated with things that are showing happy animals and all this stuff, and you start feeling like, yep, I'm doing it, so I'm going to keep donating.
So let's do this little exercise here to wrap up this episode. For any business who's going through this, let's pick a random business, like a company that does kitchen countertops, right? Yeah. So now it's easy on your website and your content on social media with all your marketing, to say this countertop is made of, blah, 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 stone that's imported from Egypt, and it's, ground down by using the teeth of former deceased American soldiers. I don't know, but it's like this, it's this high end, and it's easy to list off the specs. You're not going to win anybody. What we're talking about here today. So how would you take that, a countertop company, and paint the end result? So the end result would be the experience that your family's going to have in this beautiful kitchen. So something like, come home to a loving family. You're talking about the experience with this countertop. That's the feeling brain, not the countertop itself. That's how you sell kitchen countertops. Free tip for any kitchen countertop company. And that's the end of the episode.
Perfect. Yeah. Good way to wrap it
up. Cool. For Austin, Ben, and Myerton, I am Matt Tompkins, and thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Midwest Mindset. We have free resources for you to help you grow your business right now. They're free. That means they don't cost any money. They're, right.
You just have to have to be my Facebook friend.
All you have to do is become Ben's Facebook friend, and then click the button in the show notes. You can download our resources there. We have them for you every week, and you can find out more at our website, thecontentbox.com. Toodaloo.